So good evening, and thank you for coming to our Scholarship Awards Night for the class of 2025. It is And before we begin our ceremony tonight, I do want to extend a huge Clipper thank you to all of our donors and the work they have done to maintain these awards and opportunities for our students over the years. This year, we are recognizing close to half of our senior students who in total will be awarded over $500,000 in scholarships. Absolutely amazing. And what makes this even more impressive, some of the awards are actually renewable, which means students receive a scholarship every year while they're in school for maintaining certain standards. And when you factor that in, we're close to $750,000 that is given away tonight. Whoa. Very impressive. For our community and for the people that commit to supporting our students in their future endeavors. So the amount of financial support is just absolutely astounding and just says so much about our community, and I just continue to be in awe with what our community provides for our students. And while I'm on this topic of support, I do want to acknowledge that the planning and coordination of tonight is a year-long process, and the work behind it is immense. So I do want to highlight a special thank you to Alice Nelson, Alice has established a special relationship with all of our donors and has gone above and beyond to personalize tonight as best as possible. And I know we have many of our sponsors here tonight who will be in the cafeteria to meet the students who have received their scholarships. So now I would like to invite Mayor Sean Reardon, who will say a few words for us tonight. He will then be followed with remarks from Superintendent Sean Gallup.
Good to see everybody. This is one of my favorite nights. This was I call this a newer tradition here in Newburyport. This is much different when I came to school. And just real quickly, how many Clipper parents do we have here tonight? So if you remember correctly, when we were in school, we didn't have this night. What we had graduation practice all week, and then I think it was about the Thursday of graduation practice, we'd be out in the stadium. And then at the time, I think it was either the mayor or the principal would read your name, you'd stand up, and then they'd read off all the scholarships you got, which was cool. But wow, what a great night to get invited to something like this and get to come and to hear that over $500,000, $750,000 can come in the renewals. It just shows what a special place Newburyport is and how incredibly lucky we are to be here. I needed every dollar I could when I went to college, and I was so grateful for the scholarships that I got. I know you all are going to be grateful as well. And I love the part of tonight that I love probably the most, besides just none of you know what you're getting yet, and you're just so happy to be here. But afterwards, you get to go back to the cafeteria and actually shake the hand of the committee that picked you to get that scholarship, and you stood out to them for a certain reason, and I just think that's great. And it's all sorts of reasons, and that's why we're so lucky to have the community that supports our children like this. And again, I can't wait for my kids to come up and have this opportunity, but it's just special. So I enjoyed tonight. I'm not going to talk anymore, and congrats to everyone. I know this to me is like the unofficial kickoff of Senior Week, and Senior Week is just a special time. So for all you seniors out there, just enjoy every minute of it. It's just a lot of fun, and it's going to be over just like that. And I don't know, just enjoy it. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you.
First of all, good evening, everybody, and thank you for inviting me to be part of this wonderful event. It's a true honor to be here tonight. Before I speak directly to our seniors, I just want to recognize our parents, our caregivers, the family and friends that are here tonight. Your love, your support, your encouragement help shape these incredible young people that we're going to be recognizing. And you've been the foundation for all of their success, and it's clear your efforts are paying off. And for that, I think our students should give you a round of applause for all your hard work. So, to the seniors, I've had the privilege of watching you all grow, not only as scholars, but as artists, as athletes, musicians, leaders, and community members. You faced challenges with resilience. You've embraced opportunities with a purpose. As I look back on your journey, as you look back on your journey, I encourage you to reflect on the many people that have walked alongside of you, especially the loved ones that are here tonight. Newburyport's a special place, a place that truly believes in its young people. The incredible range of scholarships being awarded tonight is a powerful reality of that belief. These awards exist because the individuals, their families, and the organizations who are committed to giving back. Our scholarship donors understand the importance of investing in the future. I've always believed in two simple truths. People learn by example, and actions speak much louder than words. Tonight, we're going to see these truths in action. Our scholarship donors are showing us what it means to lead by example. Through their generosity, their care, and their unwavering support for this generation, some of these scholarships have been given out for over 50 years. Many carry the names and the legacy of loved ones who believe deeply in education and who believe deeply in this great community of Newburyport. So for the seniors that are receiving these scholarships, remember you also carry a story with you, a reminder that someone believed in you enough to invest in your future. The financial support you're receiving tonight reflects more than generosity. It reflects a deep pride in Newburyport, a deep pride in you individually, in what you'll represent for the future of this city and for the future of this nation. So embrace that belief. Let it remind you of your potential, and know there's an entire community behind you, cheering you on as you take on the next steps. It is my hope that someday we'll see you back in this auditorium, not as a student, but as a mentor, as a leader, and a future donor. Maybe helping the next Clipper graduate find their way forward. As Dr. Martin Luther King once said, "What are you doing for others?" Tonight, we see that question answered with action, with tradition, and with the Newburyport community pride. To all of our donors, we truly thank you, not just for your generous contribution, but the lasting example that you are setting and the legacy that you're building alongside these graduates. So congratulations to the class of 2025. We are extremely proud of all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Reardon and Superintendent Gallagher, for your remarks, and it's always great having you here for all of our celebrations. It's always a great way to kick us off. Our presentation of awards tonight will be delivered by Lauren Gee, our Director of Guidance and Counseling, and Mike Testa, our Associate Principal. Before Lauren and Mike begin their presentations, new scholarships that have been introduced this year will be introduced. For our first new scholarship, I would like to invite George Davison Bukow to come up and talk about the new scholarship.
Hi, my name is George Bukow, and I'm honored to announce the establishment of the first annual Gail Davison Bukow Scholarship, presented by the Newburyport chapter of the Philanthropic Education Organization, or PEO. PEO is a nonprofit women's volunteer organization dedicated to supporting women in achieving their educational goals. Gail is a founding member of this chapter, serving with distinction as president, vice president, and chaplain at various times. Gail's sudden passing in late 2021 was a profound loss for me, my children, and our extended family. It also deeply affected many communities that she touched, her wide circle of friends, the PEO, our church, and the entire Newburyport area. After her passing, I received countless messages speaking of the immense impact her friendship, her warmth, her light, and the joy she brought to so many lives. Even now, over 3 years later, I continue to meet people in and around Newburyport who share new, heartfelt stories about her. It's in this beautiful spirit that PEO is offering this scholarship to a young woman who truly embodies kindness, friendship, and service to those around her and the community in general. I'm incredibly humbled that PEO has chosen this path to continue honoring Gail's remarkable legacy. Thank you.
Our next new scholarship will be introduced by Josh Frappier.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Josh Frappier, the owner of Coastal Life Realty Team. At Coastal Life, we believe in investing in the future, and that begins with supporting our next generation of bold thinkers and leaders. This year, we're proud to launch a new scholarship, the Coastal Life Realty Team Future Entrepreneurship Scholarship. This $2,500 award is designed to support a graduating senior from Newburyport High School who's passionate about business and entrepreneurship. We created this scholarship to recognize students who demonstrate leadership, innovation, and a strong entrepreneurial spirit. And tonight we're especially excited as we will be awarding the scholarship for the very first time. We look forward to celebrating the first recipient of what we hope to become a long-standing tradition of supporting future entrepreneurship. Thank you.
And now I would like to invite Jeff Green to introduce the next new scholarship.
Good evening. My name is Jeff Green. I'm here on behalf of the Neptune Veterans Firemen's Association to speak about the Charlie LaBeouf Vocational Scholarship. Charlie LaBeouf was a graduate of Newburyport High School in 1972. Apparently a little later than the rest of his peers. It had something to do with a senior prank, restitution, and a tuna fish hanging in the foyer. Charlie spent much of the rest of his life working with young men and women, doing the hard work of becoming young adults. He spent his time with the Harbor School's residential program and then transitioned to alternative high schools, where he spent the last 15 years of his career as director of the Topsfield Vocational High School, where he expected all his students to leave with a high school diploma and an excellent job reference. Charlie did his work with vigor, with grace and kindness, and with great humor. And it is in that spirit that the Neptune Veteran Firemen's Association is really happy to return to the scholarship of Newburyport High School. And I too would like to thank Alice Nelson for all her hard work in helping us return to this excellent process. Thank you very much.
Thank you, George, Josh, and Jeff for being here tonight and creating these new scholarships and opportunities for our students. Now, in addition to these 3 scholarships that were just read, I have 4 more to also introduce. The first one is the Vicki Henderson Literary Festival Scholarship that is sponsored by the Newburyport Literary Festival. The Newburyport Literary Festival is celebrating its 20th year in 2025. Victoria Vicki Hendrickson founded the festival as a way to keep our community engaged with reading and interested in books. To honor Vicki on the 20th year of her exceptional leadership, we're excited to provide a scholarship to a college-bound student in the community who is passionate about reading. The winner of this scholarship will receive $1,000. Our next new scholarship is the Newburyport Commission on Disabilities Scholarship that is sponsored by the Newburyport Commission on Disabilities. The Newburyport Commission on Disabilities will provide funds for 2 scholarships of $500 each to 2 graduating Newburyport High School seniors. These 2 award recipients earn their scholarships by acknowledging their disabilities, overcoming obstacles, and achieving academic success while making positive contributions to the community. These 2 students will be continuing on to post-secondary education. Our next new scholarship is the Newburyport High School Theater and Dramatics Award, sponsored by Mr. Michael Bees. This award will go to a Newburyport High School student who has been an active participant for at least 2 years in theater, drama, stage, or acting at Newburyport High School. The student will show poise on stage, ability to get into character, and determination to keep rehearsing. The recipient will be enrolled in the fall after high school graduation in an institution majoring in liberal arts. The winner of this award will receive $500. And now a second award that is also sponsored by Mr. Michael Reeves is the Outstanding Student Contribution to Newburyport Award. The student chosen for this award would have made a contribution in service to Newburyport. This would include volunteering for elder support with elementary or middle school students as a mentor, or volunteering to do city work such as environmental cleanup or working at a food pantry. This student will be attending a 2- or 4-year college the fall after high school and will also receive, like the other one, a $500 scholarship. And now for a special presentation, I would like to invite up Captain Diaz, Recruiting Station Boston Executive Officer.
Good evening. My name is Captain Eddie Diaz. I'm the Executive Officer for Recruiting Station Boston and the NROTC Program Manager. I'm tasked with searching, finding, evaluating the best and brightest high school seniors in our area for the honor of receiving this scholarship, which provides the recipient a fully funded path to college and upon graduation, a meaningful career as a Marine Corps officer. Applicants are screened on leadership, academics, physical fitness, and this year we had over 300 applicants with only a small percentage of those guys being able to be selected for this honor. The applicant from your school, he embodied our institutional core values of honor, courage, and commitment, had a deep desire to continue his family's legacy as a United States Marine, and honestly, it was just pretty awesome to work with. With that said, it's my personal pleasure and professional privilege to award the NROTC National Scholarship to Mr. Connor DeMann.
Congratulations, Connor, and now we will start the presentation of awards.
everyone, and welcome. Thanks for everyone for coming tonight. We really look forward to this night. And really this process starts almost 6 months ago with Ms. Nelson and our counseling team here at the high school, and Mr. Smith, our college and career counselor. We really work with all the students to really help them with their applications, their essays, for all of the available scholarships. So parents and families, if you have younger students, I really encourage you to help them along with this process as well in the next few years. Our counseling team's super involved, and it's just a really great experience for students to really, start to fill out applications and really get to tell their story. So we're going to start off. The first recipient tonight is Delaney Belanger, and she is receiving the following scholarships: the Just Give Back Scholarship, the Newburyport Marina Scholarship, the Cicely Joanna Wheeler Female Athletic Scholarship, the Newburyport High School Alumni Association Scholarship, given by the class of 1992, the General Charitable Society of Newburyport, the Sean Perkins Foundation Scholarship, and the Florence Evans Bushy Foundation Scholarship. Our next recipient is Kevin Bork, who has received the Charles LaBeouf Vocational Scholarship. Our next recipient is Christiana Boylan, the recipient of the following scholarships: the Safford Fund Trust Scholarship and the Florence Evans Bushy Foundation Scholarship. Our next scholar is Samuel Brickman, recipient of the following award: the Seal of Biliteracy for Spanish and English. Our next recipient is Lucy Buckmeyer, the recipient of the John Calvin Noyes Scholarship. Our next scholar is Teddy Karen, the recipient of the following scholarships: Louis T. Festo Memorial Scholarship and the Safford Scholarship. Our next scholar is Grace Chandler, the recipient of the following: Trista Rose Zing Scholarship and the John and Helen Nicholson Scholarship Fund. Our next scholar is Ben Corneau, NHS Alumni Association Scholarship recipient. Our next recipient is Catherine Dano, recipient of the John Calvin Noyes Scholarship and the Alumni Class Scholarship. Our next recipient is Devin Davis, who has received the Travis Elliott Landreth Memorial Scholarship. Our next recipient is Connor DeMann, recipient of the following scholarship: William Wheelwright Scientific School Scholarship. Our next recipient is Caitlin Downey, recipient of the Newburyport Youth Soccer Scholarship. Our next recipient is Imre Igerman, recipient of the Edith N. Kendall Scholarship. Next is Morgan Phelps, recipient of the Healy Trophy Award, selected by the Athletic Department, and the John Calvin Noyes Scholarship. Fisher, recipient of the Safford Fund Trust Scholarship. Next is Olivia Foley, recipient of the Boosters Club James Zipris Memorial Scholarship. Next is Max Forstow, recipient of the Alumni Class Scholarship. Next we have Will Forrest, recipient of the following scholarships. The NHS Alumni Association Scholarship, given by the class of 1999, and the Frank and Ruby Cousins Memorial Scholarship. Next is Samuel Fountain, recipient of the William Wheelwright Scientific School Scholarship. Next is Casey Grinder, recipient of the Newburyport Boys Basketball Association Scholarship and the Safford Fund Trust Scholarship. Next we have Bowden Gay, the recipient of the Martin B. Crane Family Scholarship. Next we have Nora Gearlings, recipient of the Bradley and Marjorie Fuller Scholarship, the Nicoletta Matthews Tazowski Scholarship, and the Margaret Fuller Tornado Memorial Scholarship. Next we have Kira Garrity, recipient of the Delmar S. Borough Award, selected by the Athletic Department, the John Calvin Noyes Scholarship, and the National Honor Society Scholarship. Next, we have Vivian Gisbers, recipient of the Newburyport Teachers Association Scholarship and the Newburyport Lions Club Scholarship. Next is Kate Gilmore, recipient of the Barbara Ann McLew Nursing Scholarship, the Safford Scholarship, the Massachusetts Elk Scholarship, and the Florence Evan Bushy Foundation Scholarship. Next we have Molly Grant, recipient of the Superintendent's Award, the George M. Bartlett Biology Award, selected by the Science Department, and the William Wheelwright Scientific School Scholarship. Next we have Madison Green, recipient of the John and Helen Nicholson Scholarship Fund and the NHS Alumni Association Scholarships, given by the class of 1992. Next, we have Alexis Greenblatt, recipient of the Peter G. Martson Scholarship. Next, we have Alexander Gross, recipient of the Seal It by Literacy for Spanish and English Award. Next, we have Parker Harding, recipient of the John and Helen Nicholson Scholarship Fund and the John Calvin Noyes Scholarship. Next, we have Lydia Hargreaves, recipient of the Safford Fund Trust Scholarship. Next, we have Samuel Hartford, recipient of the following scholarships: the Virginia Paquette Memorial Scholarship, the John and Helen Nicholson Scholarship Fund, the Children's Castle Scholarship, the Emma L. Andrews Library and Community Center, the Phyllis Tabb Memorial Scholarship, the Louis T. Festo Memorial Scholarship, the NHS Band Scholarship, and finally, the Massachusetts Elks Most Valuable Student Scholarship. Recipient of the NHS Alumni Association Scholarships, given in memory of Christopher J. Kelleher, and the Florence Evans Bushy Foundation Scholarship. Next we have Declan Hockheiser, recipient of the John W. Tatum Scholarship, the John Calvin Noyes Scholarship, the National Honor Society Scholarship, and the Anna Jakes Nicholas Metcalf Scholarship. Homer, recipient of the Christine Adrian Service Award, selected by the administration, the NHS High School Theater Dramatics Award, and the John Calvin Noyes Scholarship. Next we have Madeline Hopwood, recipient of the Richard L. Walsh Award, selected by the Athletic Department, the Rotary Club Norman H. Russell Memorial Scholarship, the M. Virginia Hart Henberry Scholarship, the Boosters Club Darren Lazian Memorial Scholarship, the NHS Alumni Association Scholarship given in memory of Gertrude Leary O'Brien, the Safford Fund Trust Scholarship, the John J. O'Neill Scholarship, two more, the Massachusetts Most Valuable Student Scholarship, and finally the Florence Evans Bushy Foundation Scholarship. The recipient of the following scholarships: the Swayze Fund Scholarship, the Safford Fund Trust Scholarship, the Newburyport PTO Scholarship, and the Red Cross Scholarship. Next is Sophie LaFranchise, recipient of the following scholarships: Christopher G. and Mary Dulles Scholarship, Write the World Scholarship, John Calvin Noyes Scholarship, and the Marjorie S. Noyes Scholarship.
Well done, Ms. Heath. Now I'm tackling. So up next we have Evan Magoo. Evan's a recipient of the Newburyport Boys Basketball Association Scholarship. Damian Lamb is a recipient of a Merson Technical Scholarship, the Trista Rose Zink Scholarship, and the Florence Evans Bushy Foundation Scholarship. Alexander Lambert, a recipient of a Mary A. Kelly Scholarship, the John Calvin Noyes Scholarship, and the Massachusetts Elks Most Valuable Student Scholarship. Maya LaRosa is the recipient of the Emma L. Andrews Library and Community Center Phyllis Tabb Memorial Scholarship, the Edward Carter Memorial Scholarship sponsored by the Newburyport Elks, the John Calvin Noyes Scholarship, and the Rodegrass Ware Newburyport Foundation Scholarship. Grace Leary is the recipient of the Safford Scholarship. Mork Lee is the recipient of the following scholarships and awards: the Safford Fund Trust Scholarship, the NHS and Institution for Savings Internship and Community Engagement Scholarship, the Martha Jean Hill Scholarship, and the Florence Evans Bushy Foundation Scholarship. Known as a recipient of the Paul Crowley Memorial Scholarship, the Safford Scholarship, and the Florence Evans Bushy Foundation Scholarship. Samuel Lopez is the recipient of the Newburyport Youth Soccer Scholarship. Phoebe Lowell could not be with us tonight, but we'd like to recognize Phoebe and this award. She is the recipient of a Martin B. Crane Family Scholarship. Emma McIsaac is the recipient of the Stephen M. Boy Memorial Scholarship. Maya Minnie Cisnella, the recipient of a John Calvin Noyes Scholarship. Erin Marshall is the recipient of the following scholarships: the Newburyport Lions Club Scholarship in memory of Dave Shepard, the Gary F. Doyle Memorial Scholarship, the Brett Birkinshaw Memorial Scholarship, the Mary A. Kelly Scholarship, the NHS Alumni Association Scholarships given by the class of 1962, the Charles Tank Jr. Scholarship sponsored by the Oddfellows of Newburyport, the Newburyport Elks Lodge number 909 Scholarship, page 2 Aaron, the Stafford Fuss Trun Scholarship, the Putnam Free School Fund, the Massachusetts Elks Scholarship, the Ricky Monahan Memorial Fund, and finally the Florence Evans Bushy Foundation. Will is the recipient of a Stafford Scholarship. Emerson McCormick. Emerson's the recipient of the Vicki Hendrickson Literary Festival Scholarship and the Coastal Life Future Entrepreneur Scholarship. Anya is the recipient of the John and Helen Nicholson Scholarship Fund and the John Calvin Noyes Scholarship. Ava Moran. Ava is the recipient of the Rotary Club George Cashman Community Service Award, John Calvin Noyes Scholarship, and the Marsha Riley Sullivan Scholarship. Mark Necessio. Mark's the recipient of the Paul Cooper Memorial Scholarship, sponsored by the Oddfellows of Newburyport, and the Christopher and Patricia Hodson Memorial Scholarship. Sebastian Peterson is the recipient of the Safford Scholarship. Caitlin Rinaldi is the recipient of the Safford Scholarship. Madeline Roden. Madeline's the recipient of the Environmental Club Scholarship, the Outstanding Student Contribution to Newburyport Award, the NHS Alumni Association Scholarships given in memory of Robert O'Brien, and the Safford Fund Trust Scholarship. Theo Roberts. Theo is the recipient of the Cushing Prize selected by the English Department, the Travis Elliott Landreth Memorial Scholarship, the NHS Alumni Association Scholarships given in memory of Joyce Anna Bothwell from the class of 48, and the Newburyport Democratic City George Cashman Scholarship. Bill is the recipient of the Newburyport Lions Club Scholarship in memory of Paul Coleman, the Boosters Club Bradley Fuller Memorial Scholarship, the Nora and Josephine Connors Academic Scholarship, and the Safford Fund Trust Scholarship. Addie's the recipient of the Newburyport Commission on Disabilities Scholarship, the NHS Alumni Oliver and Edith H. Audette Scholarship, the Herbert Hammond Memorial Scholarship, sponsored by the Oddfellows of Newburyport, and the Lowell Connor Scholarship. Cedar is the recipient of the John and Helen Nicholson Scholarship Fund, the John Calvin Noyes Scholarship, and the Avakian Aviation Scholarship. Audrey Shepard. Audrey is the recipient of a Mary T. Spalding Scholarship and the Safford Scholarship. Kaylee Simons. Kaylee is the recipient of the Smolsky Memorial Scholarship, the Brett Birkinshaw Memorial Scholarship, the NHS Alumni Association Scholarships, given in memory of Helena and Wallace Thurlow from the classes of 51 and 47, the St. John's Masonic Lodge AF and AM Scholarship, the Roger Fuller Memorial Scholarship sponsored by the Newburyport Elks Lodge number 909, the Safford Fund Trust Scholarship, and the Nicole Lemieux Knight Scholarship. Jack Smith could not be in attendance tonight, but Jack is receiving the Brett Birkinshaw Memorial Scholarship, the Newburyport Elks Lodge number 909 Scholarship, and the Massachusetts Elks Scholarship. Also, Molly Smith could not be here tonight, and Molly's receiving the following awards and scholarships: the Amy Pike Arunda Memorial Scholarship, the Merson Technical Scholarship, the National Honor Society Scholarship, and the Anna Jakes Hospital Scholarship. Avery Starr. Avery is the recipient of the John and Helen Nicholson Scholarship Fund and the Ricky Monahan Memorial Fund. Devin Stroop. Devin is the recipient of the NHS Principal Scholarship, the Ryan Cup and Ryan Cup Scholarship, selected by the Athletic Department. Maya Sachecki is not in attendance tonight, but Maya is the recipient of a Safford Scholarship. Ella Tierney. Ella is the recipient of the Newburyport Teachers Association Scholarship, the City Scholarship Fund, the Putnam Free School Fund, and the Florence Evans Bushy Foundation Scholarship. Nadia Todd. Nadia is the recipient of the Right to World Scholarship and the Florence Evans Bushy Foundation Scholarship. Will Tomolsky. Will is the recipient of the Newburyport Commission on Disability Scholarship and the Newburyport Marina Scholarship. Maxwell Walker. Max is the recipient of the Safford Fund Trust Scholarship. Welch Malcasian. Molly's the recipient of the Seal of Biliteracy for Spanish and English. Jalen Wise. Jalen's the recipient of the Mayor Albert H. Zabriskie Memorial Scholarship and a Safford Scholarship. Noe Zapata. Noe is the recipient of the Martin B. Crane Family Scholarship. The following students are student athletes who may have been on fields or courts or in competitions earlier and therefore taken out of alphabetical order. So I hope if you did get here on time, you're not nervous. So I have about 10 students. Some may be here, some may not. So Tyler Trevanian. Tyler is the recipient of the Bresnahan Scholar Athlete Scholarship. Brendan Grossman. Brendan is the recipient of the Maria Iacono Memorial Scholarship, the Safford Scholarship, and the National Honor Society Scholarship. Ryan Sanchez. Ryan's the recipient of the NHS Alumni Baseball Scholarship, the Newburyport Boys Basketball Association Scholarship, the Safford Fund Trust Scholarship, and the Florence Evans Bushy Foundation Scholarship. Colin Fuller. Colin's the recipient of the Newburyport Boys Basketball Association Scholarship. Ryan's the recipient of the Stephen M. Boyd Memorial Scholarship. Eli Sirota. Eli is the recipient of the Booster Club Matt Eaton Memorial Scholarship, the James A. Croto Memorial Scholarship, and the Kevin Sullivan Toughness and Class Award. He's the recipient of the John and Helen Nicholson Scholarship Fund. Isla DeVivo. Isla is the recipient of the NHS Alumni Association scholarships given in memory of Richard John O'Brien from the class of 1980, Frank and Ruby Cousins Memorial Scholarship, and the Safford Fund Trust Scholarship. Sophie Nevada. Sophie is the recipient of the Cushing Prize selected by the English Department, the NHS Principal Scholarship, and the Seal of Biliteracy in Spanish and English. And my final award, I believe the student athlete was on a late tennis match and may not have been here. Lily Sue is the recipient of the Gail Davidson Bucco Memorial Scholarship.
Thank you, Lauren and Mike, and we can give another round of applause for all of them. Okay, and so now we have some special presentations for this evening. So first, please welcome Michael Jones, President and Chief Executive Officer of the Institution for Savings. He will be presenting the Patricia D. Conley Scholarship along with the Institution for Savings Scholarship for Excellence.
Good evening, everyone, and congratulations to all of you here tonight. I'm truly honored to present the Patricia D. Conley Scholarship. Pat Connolly was born and raised here in Newburyport. She graduated from Newburyport High School in 1964, and she worked at the Institution for Savings for 38 years. She passed away unexpectedly in June of 2020. Pat was known for her kindness, and she believed in giving back to her community and to those less fortunate than herself. In her honor and memory, the bank established this scholarship to be awarded to a graduating senior from Newburyport High School who embodies the spirit in which Pat lived her life. This year's candidate was unanimously selected by our scholarship committee, and we want you to know that your commitment to the Immaculate Conception School, the Student Ambassadors Club, and the Interact Club would have made Pat very proud. I did meet your parents the other night at the North Shore Chamber Awards, and I can honestly say Pat would have loved them too. It's an honor for me to announce the recipient of the Patricia Conley Scholarship in the amount of $5,000 is Maxwell Walker. Okay, the next award I'd like to present is the Institution for Savings Scholarship, and on behalf of the bank, I want to thank each of you who applied for this scholarship, and I wish all of you the best as you begin a new chapter in your life. The one adjective that immediately came to mind when I read through this student's application was genuine, truly genuine. Our application requires students to write 3 essays. And one of the essays this student chose was, what do you aspire to be and why? I'd like to share with you one paragraph from that essay. He writes, beyond my professional goals, I aspire to be a good father and role model. I aim to create a supportive and nurturing environment for my children, helping them grow into responsible, compassionate individuals who understand the value of hard work and respect. Being a good father means teaching them essential life skills such as being resilient during hard times and the importance of effective communication. Along with these life skills, I want to give my children a happy childhood by playing games with them and by being there whenever they need me. I hope to lead by example and to ensure that they are ready to succeed in life and to pursue their own aspirations. In a letter of recommendation, one of his teachers writes, "His genuine good nature and easygoing personality lifts the spirits of everyone around him, and he has earned the trust and respect of his teachers, coaches, and peers." This year's recipient is an exceptional young man who has excelled athletically, academically, and shown great leadership during his 4 years here. This young man has a very bright future ahead of him, and we are honored to invest in his education. It's an honor for me to announce the recipient of the Institution for Savings Scholarship in the amount of $20,000, Mr. Colin Fuller.
Thank you, Michael, and congratulations, Colin and Max. And now I would like to welcome Mark Welsh, who is president of the Mary Alice Arakalian Foundation, to present their scholarship.
Good evening, everyone. Getting tired of following Mike Jones to this podium. He's doing such a damn good job. I have a couple of housekeeping things I want to take care of first. I'm also president of the Putnam Scholarship Fund and want to congratulate Ella Tierney and Erin Marshall on their awards earlier. Erin is also, I believe, the grandniece of Shirley Marshall, who was a dear friend of mine and colleague at the Institution for Savings, who passed away earlier this year. I think it's always important to know where this money comes from. And I'm going to try to put a little different twist on the Arakalian story, because Mike Testa said to me a couple years ago, "I've heard you say it so many times, I think I can do it myself." Immigrants are in the news today. Nick Arakalian was an immigrant to this country at age 4. His house burned and he had to go to work to support his family at age 13. He worked at Fowles News on State Street. All that remains of that Fowles News now is the iconic sign that hangs just above Bryan Restaurant. He was such a good worker that at age 17, the then owner of Fowles gave him half of the business. He later bought the other half when she was ready to retire. He was an immigrant whose family came here with nothing. They needed help from the Salvation Army on their time just to survive. In its day, Fowles News on State Street was a gathering place. It sold newspapers, it had a soda fountain. People would go there in the morning to talk about the events of the time and just basically, I'm sure, to gossip. But it provided a community center. And Nick, when the government instituted its first income tax, realized he needed to hire a bookkeeper. That bookkeeper was Mary Alice Callahan, who was a recent graduate of Newburyport High School. They later married and together owned and operated Fowles News for more than 50 years. She predeceased him, but in her memory he established this foundation, and upon his death in 1980, the foundation was funded. And it was funded with a little bit more than $2 million. That was his entire estate. And as a predecessor of mine, John Cranberg, said, in the first president of Mary Alice Arakalian Foundation, he said, "That's a lot of money when it comes from selling newspapers and Cokes." So all immigrants need not be vilified. That seems to be common today. It seems to be comfortable today. People seem to want to vilify newcomers to our country. Some participate, many participate, I would argue. And Nick and Mary Alice, or Nick Arakalian is the perfect example of that. And we're happy to be up here to honor his wife tonight. I'm trying something new. I have my notes on my phone, and I've already wiped out half of them. I'm old and it's technology, and I don't apologize for that. I want to announce this is a $40,000 scholarship paid in equal increments of $10,000 a year. We're changing that. It's now a $50,000 scholarship.
Whoa.
And if you have friends that have earned it in the past, and they want to know if it applies to them, it does not. Only this year and years going forward. We've had kids receive these scholarships that have studied everything from criminal justice to medicine. They've gone to state schools and Ivy League schools. We just had one receive a Rhodes Scholarship. So the young men and women who have won this scholarship in the past have gone on to do wonderful things, and we're very proud of who they are, and we're very proud to have been involved in their education. The recipients we have tonight, I'm really confident in telling you, as I continue to wipe out more of my notes, I'm sure you're going to follow in that same tradition. And they share many things. Both are obviously outstanding students. Both are athletes. Both are artists. And both have given back to their communities. Our first recipient, you learn a lot about these kids from what they say about themselves and what others say about them. These are a couple of things that our first recipient has said. I'll give it away, about herself. She tries to treat everyone with dignity and respect. She said she now trusts herself to lead successfully. And she says a negative attitude infects all of those around you. You learn more when you hear what others say about them. She works seamlessly with others, even when those others are not part of her friend circle. She's compassionate and she's kind. I'm very pleased to announce our first recipient is Vivian Gisbert. The other thing that the two recipients share, I think the bachelor's degree is going to be the beginning of things for them, and there are more educational things in their future. Our next recipient, like I said, has been very involved in the community, even founded her own nonprofit. I'm a dad. And when someone writes an essay that says her dad is her role model, she has my attention. Her dad taught her things like perseverance, humility, and mental strength. And he taught her that practice does not make perfect, but that in fact perfect practice makes perfect. She also began her essay by saying she wanted to be a lawyer. And she ended that essay by saying she will be a lawyer. Now, I'm 100% sure we don't need more lawyers in this world. But I'm also 100% sure that we need more good lawyers in this world. And I believe Isla de Vivo will be one of them.
am still using a paper script. But Isla and Vivian, congratulations on those awards. So in closing, I want to extend congratulations to all of our award recipients on behalf of Newburyport High School, our district, and the city of Newburyport. Congratulations again.